Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I'm crocheting a bit more this bag, getting a little bit more done since yesterday. I've only been doing it in the morning and a little bit in the afternoon because it is 3 o'clock now. And I do my knitting of a night time because I can't crochet and watch the telly. I can't get that through there. Through the first stitch. Oh, there's a little bit. Take that out. I've snagged a little bit of the fluffy bit of the wool, and it's not pulling through. That's it. Through. So I can't watch the television and crochet because I have to be looking at what I'm doing when I'm crocheting. But I can knit and watch the telly. I don't have to be looking at me knitting, especially if I know what sort of stitches. If they're repeated stitches I'm doing, I'm okay. But anyway, I'm doing a bit of this during the daytime till I get it finished. Probably not much longer because I'm a good way up it now. Like, I'll put that down anyway. Put it under there. And I have started. This is the 20-inch rosebud lace little cardigan. I just started this last night. Haven't done a lot of it because I was doing a bit of this one as well. I'm doing a little bit of everything. That's the way I like things. But you know, I was sitting crocheting that bag this morning. Well, it was around about lunchtime actually. I was sitting crocheting that bag and I kept seeing these little silvery, I thought they were bits of fluff stuff, and I was pulling them off and I realised it was strands of my hair. And then I realised something, since I haven't been all that good lately. I haven't done any housework. Must be about a week now, nearly a week now. And I've never vacuumed my floor, my carpet. My hair falls out very easily. It breaks very easy. It's probably age, you know, your hair gets brittle and that. And I just run my hand across the floor in front of the coffee table and there was a load of hair in my hand. It must have been falling off all week, and in the ball, because when I was using this, couple of balls like this, they were just on the floor and they were rolling around and must have been picking up my hair. Now I'm going to have to vacuum that floor. So I got the vacuum out and I thought, I hope I don't get puffed out of doing this, you know, because I did just go for a walk yesterday. So I vacuumed and seemed okay, and I thought, oh, it's okay, like, you know. So I thought, I'll put the kettle on, make myself a cup of tea, and I thought, I'll peel an orange. I got an orange out of my bowl, and you know, it was one of those oranges with the tough skin. It was hard to get the skin off. And I was puffed out by the time I'd finished pulling that skin off that orange, so it wasn't as good as I thought. That it hadn't noticed while I was vacuuming the floor, because I wasn't going, you know, I was just backwards and forwards as you normally do and all that. It must have been afterwards when I tried to do something else. But anyway, I'm going to put my knitting down in a minute, and I'm going to do one of those question things I have. I've got them written down in my book. This is for everybody. I'll put the questions in the description box for anybody that wants to read them afterwards. But these are just 10 questions, and I'm calling it 10 Knitty questions. And number 1 is, how old were you when you learned to knit? Well, I was about 5 or 6. My mother had taught me to cast on, but at the time, what I remember and what I was told now and again, my dad was a steel erector and he'd had an accident at work. He'd fell off the roof. And when he was getting, okay, I mean, he was lying flat on his back for quite a while, but afterwards my mum had to go out to work because you didn't get the money from, like sick thing like you get these days. So she had to go out to work. Well, my mother she's a dressmaker, or she called herself a tailoress. Well, I suppose that's what she was. She ordered suits and things like that. She worked for Isaac Walton. So she couldn't really do much, but my dad could knit because he used to do it when he was in the Navy, on his breaks. He used to knit. So he taught me how to knit. And this is the way he taught me, is the way I've taught my grandkids. I used to sit me, I can just vaguely remember this. He sat me in front of him, practically on his knee. I had the needles in my hand with the wool and that, but he was guiding my hand and he was going in, over, through and off. In, over, through and off. So he put the needle in, wool over, pull it through and off the other needle. And that's the way he taught me, and that's the way I've taught everybody else I've taught to knit. So it was my father taught me how to knit. That was the second question, actually. Who taught you to knit? So I was about 5 or 6 when I learned. It was my father that taught me. And number 3 is, what was the first thing you knit? And I think everybody's answer will be the same for that, because mine was a scarf. I think that scarf would have went round the living room twice. So I think that answer, everybody's will probably be the same for that one. And number 4, I've got, what brand of yarn do you like most? Well, I used to knit with anything. I wasn't bothered what the brand was. But I think at the moment, a lot of stuff I'm using, I do tend to like the King Cole brand. So I would say that's the one I like the most at the moment. And number 5 is, are you a yarn snob? Meaning only the best and most expensive yarn is good enough. No, I am not a yarn snob. I will knit with anything. Doesn't matter whether it costs pennies. A lot of cheap wool is just as good as the more expensive stuff. That's my answer anyway. And number 6 is, do you prefer knitting with thick or thinner yarn? I do prefer the thinner yarn. When my babies were little, I knit with all 3-ply and 4-ply. I didn't like little babies and thick, because the double knitting was like thick chunky stuff on little babies. So that's what I used to knit with, 3-ply and 4-ply. And if I had a choice now, I would knit with 4-ply for myself. I'd have to have a look up to see where you can buy it from. There's not many that I've actually seen in 4-ply. You can still get it, it is, but that's it. And I've never been too keen on the thick yarn anyway. So number 7, what is the thickest and the thinnest yarn you have ever knit with? The thickest I have ever knit with is chunky. And the thinnest I've ever knit with is 2-ply. Because when I had my knitting machine, we used to get 2-ply. Most of the things I knitted on my knitting machine was with 3-ply or 4-ply. But used to buy cones with 2-ply and used to cut 2 strands together to make 4-ply on the knitting machine. But I used to use that very thin stuff, the 2-ply, to make little sweaters and things for my boys' action men. So I prefer knitting with a thinner yarn if I can. And what size garment do you like to knit the best? Well, I like to knit little baby things. I do like knitting most sizes, I don't know, but the little baby things are the ones I like the best. And number 9 is, if you make a mistake, do you frog it back or hope no one notices? I would never leave a mistake. If I made a mistake, I'd be frightened that somebody did notice. So I've always pulled it back if I've made a mistake. And number 10 is what brand of needles do you prefer, and do you think price matters as long as they do the job to satisfaction? Well, at the moment I've been knitting with the Zing needles, and I do prefer them now. But I do have a lot of older needles, some of them over 50 years old, and they do the job to satisfaction actually. But I have noticed since I've been buying the Zings, the newer ones, the points on my old needles seem a little bit blunt compared to those ones. It's whether they were, you know, a more pointy point on them when I first bought them, I don't remember. And they've just worn down over the years, I think. But they still do the job, so sometimes, especially with the Zing ones, are all different colours, and if I happen to be using a colour that's the same colour as the Zing needles, I'll go back to my old ones, because the grey ones, you can see the colour better. But on the coloured one, if you're knitting with a dark blue, and the needle's dark blue, it's hard to see what you're knitting. So I don't think price matters as long as they do the job. And that's my 10 questions for anyone. And like I said, I will print them out and put them in the description box, and you can see them if you want to answer any of the questions that I've put on. And anyway, I usually go to my granddaughter's Wednesday, but I know I'm COVID free now, but I'm still not going because I'm still coughing, and I'm not going to go and sit in someone's house and coughing and keep... I've blown my nose that many times. I think I might be blowing my brains out through my nose now, and I don't want to keep doing that either. So I've told her, well, Craig messaged me, that's Cheryl's partner, he messaged me and asked if I was coming down today. I said no. I says I'll come down on Sunday. I should maybe be getting rid of the cough by that time. And my friend wanted to know if I was going to bingo tomorrow, and I've told her no. I've told her straight I am not going, because she also wanted me to go out Saturday night with her, and I've told her I am not. I'll see her next Thursday, a week tomorrow. I think she finally got the message. But you know, it says you cannot go in a place of bingo when you've got a cough like what I've got. Sometimes it comes on in a fit and I can't stop, and you're sitting in the middle of the bingo and you could start coughing. Nobody will be able to hear the numbers for you. Just doesn't sink into her. But anyway, that's my little bit. I'm going to get back to my little bit more crocheting, and then back to my knitting later on tonight. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another time. So bye for now.